Jordan. Another episode of Lightning Latest. Really excited for this one because we're 6-0. Boom, baby. Gotta love it. 6-0 Bolts. We're going to talk about that here shortly. Also going to talk about the preseason finale once again against those dreaded Panthers. The winger situation between us and the Panthers, and a what if. So let's just hop in right into it. First, preseason game 6 at Benchmark International, defending our home ice. We beat the Panthers 5-2 to improve to 6-0 in the preseason. You gotta love it. It's awesome. I'm just really, really excited to see what exactly some of these guys are gonna do, moving forward. And there's just so much that could happen. That this preseason could be the start of something really, really big. And I'm really pumped for it. So, 2 goals and assists from Gunsel led the way, and then 3 assists from Nikita Kucherov, 2 assists from Darren Radish helped lead the team as well. Sorelli scored, Geeky scored, Point scored. Point also had an assist. There was an assist from Gajan Calvis, as well as Declan Carlisle, who's fighting for one of those spots, one of those defense spots. And Dominic James as well. Dominic James I'm really excited about because he was a pickup we got from the University of Minnesota, and he can easily play his way onto this team from the start. So, could be hearing a lot more of his name moving forward. Haven't heard too much about it coming through preseason and camp because he's been hurt, but now he's back. And he could be the one that takes Ponce's Holmberg spot, especially with Pelletier demoted. So, Brandon Halverson started and played the whole game, stopping 16 of the 18 shots he faced. So, not a bad day at the office for him. Jonas Johansson was his backup. Vasi didn't even play. But the rumor is that Vasi is supposed to start on Saturday in Sunrise. So, we'll talk about that more in a few minutes. Seth Jones and E2 Lustarinian, I believe, scored the Panthers goals. We're going to be talking about E2 here in a little bit as well. So, not too bad, but only 18 shots on goal, which is kind of wild because they pretty much had the whole starting lineup out there, minus 1 or 2 guys. So, Bolts had 33 shots on goal. 33 shots. However, this matchup did feel a lot like the postseason matchup, the series, and that ended our season last year. It's very chippy, very physical. Bolts had 82 penalty minutes, but that didn't even compare to what the Panthers had. The Panthers had 104. So, this matchup has a very similar feel to that chippiness. Will it continue on Saturday? I think it's possible. I really wouldn't be surprised if it did. But, anything is possible. And we're looking for that sweep, right? We're looking for that sweep. So let's just talk about the finale a little bit, and we're going to dive right into this. We're going to see, this episode is a pretty heavy Bolts Panthers one, but that's okay. Because that's what we're going to have to, defeat in the playoffs, most likely. So with the 5-2 win, right, last night, can the Bolts finish undefeated? That's the question. We're 6-0, right? Had a great start, beating the Panthers the last 2 games. Beat them 3-2 in Orlando and beat them 5-2 last night. So, if we can beat them in Sunrise, then that'll be fantastic. The matchup in Orlando was pretty tame compared to the one in Tampa, though. All right, a lot more physicality, right? We talked about that. A lot more physicality in that one. Will it continue in Sunrise? Almost assuredly, yes. Because, we're going to talk about the incident that I think started tonight here in a little bit. But, it's just a physical... These 2 teams hate each other. They're NC rivals. We do not like the Panthers. Our goal, obviously, is to win the Stanley Cup. Goal 1A or 1B is to make sure the Panthers don't win it. We don't want them to 3-peat. I don't think anybody does. Maybe even Panthers fans. Who knows? So, it's just... If we can beat them again on Saturday on their home ice and finish the preseason undefeated, yes, this is the preseason, but still, that's going to give us a real nice boost heading into, next week's opener against Ottawa. Vazzy is slated to start on Saturday, according to multiple insiders. Gabby Shirley from the team website talked about it. Lightning insider Eric Lengerson talked about it as well. He's scheduled to start Saturday. We're going to talk about in the next few days, like why maybe the lack of his playing time this preseason could hurt him. I'm going to dive more into it. I'm going to dive more into his past few preseasons too and see what the playing time is like. But, Vasi starting against them will probably give us like the full look of how we're going to look opening night, pretty much for the most part, I think. Maybe there'll be a couple two like minor changes on the third or fourth lines, but other than that, I think we're going to see how we're going to look. Is it enough to get him ready for Ottawa? Is it enough for Vasi to get ready for Ottawa? I mean, Coop and the staff probably believe that. They've held him out. He's been dealing with stuff. They probably believe he just needs this one start, and he'll be that with some more practice time. He'll be ready for Ottawa. I hope that's the case. If we're going to win the Stanley Cup, we need Vasi at the full height of his powers. If we don't have that, we're going to have an issue. So, he's slated to play Saturday. If he plays the full time, great. If he plays 2 quarters, 2 periods, and then Joe Shanson comes in and plays the third, that's fine too. He needs to play. So both teams are going to look pretty similar to how they'll probably look opening night. And probably when they see each other later on the line. The only one that's not going to be in the Bolts lineup that might be there when they play later on in the season will be Nick Paul. He's in the IR right now, but we'll see. The Bolts should basically put out all of the top guys, all of our normal starters, and just see what happens. If the Bolts finish the preseason undefeated, it's going to be a nice boost heading into Ottawa, I think. It'll really help us with that matchup, and it's important because, we want to maintain this momentum and continue on the right foot, and start on the right foot as well for the regular season. So, we're going to talk about a comparison, once again, between us and the Panthers on the wing. Now, the lines look pretty similar in a lot of aspects. The Bolts, first line, Jake Guentzel and Nikita Kucherov on the left and right wings. Panthers have Verhaeghe on the left, Sam Reinhart on the right. We know Verhaeghe very well. Started his career with us. Second line, Hagel on the left and Galkalis on the right for the Bolts. Second line for the Panthers, Luz Daranian on the left, and then Marchand on the right. Third line, Bolts have Bjorky and Connor Geeky right now on those 2 spots. The Panthers have Jesper Boqvist and Mackie Samskovich, Mackie is basically their Geeky. If I could make a comparison, that's what I believe he is. Fourth line's interesting. Both like veteran heavy lines that, haven't really got there yet. But we have Zemgus Jorgensen's on the left for us, Mitchell Shaffey on the right. And then the Panthers have A.J. Greer, who we'll talk about later, as well as Jonah Gadjovich. So, I'm going to say this right now. Offensively, I think we're slightly better than them. At least on the wing. We're going to dive more into the centers tomorrow. They might have us beat there. But on the wing, we have them beat. Our first line's better. I would take Guentzel and Kucherov over Verhaeghe and Reinhart. Simply for this reason. So Guentzel, right, still working through the preseason. 2 goals and assists tonight, right? It's a good night. Whether it's preseason, regular season, postseason, that's a good night for any hockey player. Cooch had 3 assists, all right? So they both already look like they're ready to go. They're ready. Now, if we can go into Sunrise and beat them on Saturday, tomorrow, that's going to be great. That's what we want, right? Reinhart and Verhaeghe really didn't make an impact in this preseason game. Reinhart was actually a -1 for the night. Verhaeghe was, net 0. But, they didn't have any points. They didn't really do much. So at the moment, I would give the advantage to our top line. Just because of Nikita Kucherov alone. Nikita Kucherov is a perennial Hart contender. If he continues to play the way he has been playing the last 2 years, that's not going to stop. Verhaeghe and Reinhart are good. They haven't shown their perennial Hart contender good. Perennial Art Ross contender good. Okay? They just haven't shown that. And until they do, we're going to have the advantage. Especially if Gunsel plays better than he did last year. He already had a career high goals with 41 last year. And we're thinking he could just make a run at the Rocket Richard. Who knows? Right? He could have a really strong year in year 2 with us. He's only going to get better. Playing alongside Cooch and Brandon Point. Like the top line, Brandon Point had an assist. Just an assist, but that's okay. Cooch had 3 assists. That's 4 assists. And then Gunsel had 1. 5 assists, 2 goals from the top line tonight. You'll take that all night long. Especially if you're getting goals from everywhere else. That's why we're better right now than the Panthers' top line. At least at the wing. Center could be the balance, and we're going to weigh it all together here in a few days too. But I'm liking us right now. The key is how we're going to be able to balance them on those depth lines. Line 2, I would give to the Panthers. Here's why. Brandon Hagel had 90 points last year. Brandon Hagel will surpass 100 this year. None of us would be surprised. But Gage Goncalves is still getting there. He's 26 on another RFA deal, bridge deal, 2 years, 1.2 mil. Has had a great preseason in camp so far. Is not to the level though. He's not to the level of Brad Marchand. Brad Marchand is one of the best offensive players still in the league. At least from a creative standpoint. There's a reason why he's 36, I believe, but there's a reason why the Panthers re-signed him to that long-term deal. He's going to retire there. As long as he continues to do what he's been doing well for the last ages, it seems now. He's just a pest. He's the pest that wins. And, that's why I give them the edge. Lucernarian, he scored tonight, which is great for them. He looks like he's going to be a potentially really important piece moving forward. But I give them the edge because of Marchand, just like I give the Bolts the edge in line 1 because of Kucherov. That's just how it works. Line 3, I would give to us as well. Here's why. It's similar to our second line, right? Where we have a veteran that can still improve, like Bjorkstrand in his second year with us. And Connor Geekie, right? Our number 1 prospect, according to The Athletic. So, we all know how well Geekie's done this preseason. He's done fantastic. Will it continue throughout the season? I think it will. I think he's going to continue to get better, continue to break those barriers. Potentially, he'll be on the second line by the end of the season. That's what I'd love to see. As much as I want to see Gage Goncalves succeed, I want Connor Geekie on the second line by the end of the season. That'd be fantastic. Him and Hagel? Come on, y'all. So, Bjorkstrand is also looking to prove that he's worth that next level extension. So, it's going to be really important. Meanwhile, Boqvist, 23 points last year, tied a career high. -4 plus minus for the Panthers, though. So, he's okay. Samskovich is their Geekie. All right, he's 2021 first rounder by them. They picked him 72 games last year. All right, had 31 points, including 15 of those in goals. -4 plus minus. Think the kid's gonna be good. Will he be as good as Geekie? I hope not. Will it happen? Give it a good shot. He's showed a lot last year, so I think they have another potential superstar on their hands, which is something I do not want to say. And then we have, the fourth line, AJ Greer for the Panthers. He started the chippiness tonight with that big hit on Hagel. He kind of blindsided him and sucker punched him. So, not really. He's 28, too. He's on his 5th team already. Did have 17 points, though, last year. 6 goals for the Panthers. Meanwhile, Gadjevich, he's in his 3rd year of the Panthers. 42 games last year. He only had 4 points, all on goals. -7 plus minus. Our fourth line of Shafi and Gergensons has looked good in the preseason once again. And they've showed some good looks and spurts throughout the past few years. But they really need to put it together and be better this year. Which is why I'm going to talk about our last what if. And that's going to be Brock McGinn to the Bolts. Now, 31 years old, 11 years in the NHL, spent 2.5 seasons last 2.5 years with the Ducks. His former second-round pick by the Hurricanes, spent 6 years in Carolina, then 2.5 years with the Penguins, traded to the Ducks, spent the last two and a half with them. So, last season, positive 1 plus minus, so not bad. 4 goals, 4 assists, 8 points, 26 games. Now, you're kind of wanting more than 26 games out of a guy that's going to be on the third and fourth line, right? You're going to want them to be there as much as they can. He's only played in 82 games once in his career. He's only surpassed 70 in 2 other instances. So, would the multitude of injuries make him a good fit for the third or fourth line? That's really the question. We have all those young guys coming up, like Connor Geekie, like Gaethje Calvis, possibly Jacob Pelletier, Jack Finley played tonight. We have all these guys that are trying to come and make a name for themselves. Would signing a 31-year-old that doesn't stay healthy too often be the best choice? If some of those young players didn't improve, like if they didn't show the growth that they've already kind of shown during camp, during preseason, then yeah, I think it would be a good choice. But at the same time, the cap's rising. Yes, we could use that, but is it really worth it? Is it really, worth it to kind of bring in a guy that can really take time away from developing players? That's only for Julian Brewboy to decide. So, we'll see what happens. I think we really use some more veteran help, but more defensively than anything. We'll talk about that here in the next few weeks as well, because we're starting a new What If next week, and I'm really excited, and it's going to take us through the season. So, but this is Jordan Lightning Latest signing off. We got a lot of fun stuff going on tomorrow. Actually, on Monday, sorry. Including a recap of the preseason finale. So I'll see you guys then. This is Jordan Lightning Latest signing off. See ya.